I now request Anup sir to introduce our next speaker for the day. Over to you, Anup sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Deep. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I feel immensely honored to introduce to you our next speaker, none other than Professor Jyotsna Prajapat. Professor Jyotsna Prajapat did her MSc, MPhil, and PhD in mathematics from the University of Mumbai. Ma'am's MPhil and PhD advisor was one of the most renowned mathematician of our country, Professor Kumaresan. Madam's research journey did not halt there actually. Looked like she was just getting started. She started as a visiting fellow at TIFR Mumbai and then TIFR Bangalore. Worked as assistant professor in ISI Bangalore, visiting assistant professor in the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Assistant professor at IIT Bombay, then back to TIFR Bombay as a visiting scientist. Flew again out of the country and worked as an assistant professor at the Petroleum Institute's Department of Mathematics, Abu Dhabi. Now, Madam is continuing as a professor of mathematics in University of Mumbai. Madam's research interests are partial differential equations, differential geometry, and geometric analysis. Madam has been receiving several national and international level scholarships and grants, awards, right from her MSc days, like the NBHM scholarship for PhD and UGC scholarship, various scholarships from the international universities of Paris, Rome, Madrid, Spain, also GIAN, that is the Global Initiative of Academic Networks scholarship by the Government of India. Currently, Madam is also Senior Research Associate at the ICTP, that is Italy, in Italy. She also received the Shibisho grant to attend the International Congress of Mathematicians, that is this year, 2022. This only accounts to just first page of Madam's CV. Madam's list of achievements in the field of mathematics research is endless. Madam has several remarkable publications and collaborations with a lot of well-known Indian and international mathematicians, gifting us a lot of interesting results in the field of pure mathematics. Also, there is a long list of interdisciplinary collaborations, preprints, conferences attended, and invited talks, which I will have to unfortunately put a hold on as we all have to begin with Madam's session. So on behalf of the Mathematics Department of SIS, CSES, I would like to proudly welcome Professor Jyotsna Prajapat for the much awaited talk on procedural approach to quality research in mathematics. It's an honor to have you, ma'am. On to you.
Thank you very much, Anu. So let me first share the screen, I think. Am I already sharing it?
Not yet, ma'am. Not yet. It's visible now,
Yes.
yes.
So I would like to thank Anu for the nice introduction, and let me thank Rekha Madam and Department of Mathematics SIES College for their invitation and giving me a chance to speak in this particular webinar. And as has been already said, that I'm supposed to speak on procedural approach to quality research in mathematics. So, as we have already heard from speakers before me, because that it is quite difficult to give you a procedure to be able to define what is quality research in mathematics, but I will try my best and also steal some of the things which were already mentioned in the previous talks. So the what I have personally said is I'm going to share some thoughts on research in mathematics, and please feel free to stop me, ask any questions uh, that you would like me to answer. I will try my best. Before I begin, I would like to uh, means unlike the other speakers, yeah, okay. Unlike the other speakers, I would like to give a disclaimer that opinions expressed in this talk are mine alone and mostly based on my experience. Also, one should realize that what works for me may not work for somebody else, right? So just take everything that I say with pinch of salt. And as I said, I will base many of the things on my personal experience, what my teachers told me to do, and I will just share it with you. Okay. So my talk is yeah, means mostly I was given a set of questions, and what I'm going to try and do is try to speak around those questions. Again, if somebody has anything to say, please stop, and you can ask me, yeah, at that particular moment or towards the end of the talk. Okay. So one of the first things, of course, I already saw some of the students' questions which the student asked. So the first one which I'm going to start with is about how and where to apply for a PhD. So let me go back to the previous talk where one of the student asked that I think it was something about how advan means basically asking how advantageous it was to get into one of the big institutes to do a PhD, or whether it is beneficial or not. So this question is basically related to that. And again, as I said, Siddharth did answer that question to an extent, which is true, as he said, that it certainly helps a lot. If you or if you are already doing your bachelor's in in a big institute, and so basically your exposure is very good. You get probably better training. You are able to decide your directions much earlier in your during your studies, that what I like, what I don't like. But let me also say, on contrary, that I am also one of the examples who did not go to a big institute to do my bachelor's. I am from a Patkar College student. I did my BSc over there, and I did my master's in Department of Mathematics, University of Mumbai. My MPhil as well as PhD over there. So I consider a very common person in that sense. That, but of course, let me also say that. I did have an advantage, that being a student in Department of Mathematics in University of Mumbai, and its proximity to TIFR, and the fact that we had a very active department, where we had our teachers used to arrange a lot of invited talks of mathematicians who used to visit TIFR and also IIT. So I think that kind of exposure helped the student in this department. So I think in spite of the fact that I am not from one of those big IITs or institutes, being at University Department of Mathematics itself was very much advantageous. And yeah, I should also mention here that I had wonderful teachers in my bachelor's and master's, and of course for PhD. And I try to learn maximum. Okay. So coming to the question itself, how and where to apply for PhD? I think the question should be like, first of all, you do need to decide what you would like to work in for PhD. That question itself has a very difficult answer, because unfortunately, as it was pointed out in the previous talks also, that till we are doing our masters, we are still learning foundations. We are not even seeing what real mathematics problems are. Okay, so our entire learning process, which starts from maybe our school and college and even masters, we are only learning the foundations. And unfortunately, like, for subjects like analysis and algebra, which are many years old, you do require that basic groundwork to be prepared. So, of course, now there are plenty of institutes. There are ICERs, NICERs, IITs, ISIs, and Indian Institute of Science as well. Most of these have common entrance exams. There are central universities, even state universities. They have very laid down procedure, and one can either appear for the entrance exams. We have PET exams for the state universities, and you clear the exam, appear for the interview, and get selected for PhD. That is the standard procedure. So I think in current times, all the information regarding this is available online. Yes, most of the institutes also have common exams, which are like GATE, and many of the scores are accepted in universities and institutes also. So that I think the students should find out. Also, one more driving factor about deciding where you want to do PhD should be you should spend some time looking at the maths or statistics department, or whichever department you are interested in, and try to look at with whom you could be compatible, like, whether there is any faculty member who is working in the kind of things you would be interested in. I think that should also be one of the points which you need to consider when applying for PhD. Means, what is the point of applying? Like, if I'm interested in topology, or like some subject which is very specialized, and I apply to an institute, it may be a very good institute, it may be having very good faculty, but if they do not have someone in the field of my interest, and I'm sure that I want to work in that particular field, then I would not apply. Okay, but on the other hand, I usually tell my students that they should always, when they apply for PhD, they should go with an open mind, because you never know what you would like and what would work for you. So that is one thing which I suggest. In fact, that is one advice I would give to BSc students, that when you go to study masters, go with open mind. Don't go with like, I like this subject, I don't like that subject, because masters is very different from bachelor's, and try to compensate things which you have missed during your undergraduate studies. Okay, so I think this is this information is can be found very easily on standard like websites of standard institutes. So I will not say much more about this. Yeah. So once you have gotten for PhD, what happens in coursework? So again, I think at least in our department, I think there is no longer going to be MPhil. Okay, so mandatorily anyone who joins for PhD, even in institutes, either they do 1 year coursework or 6 months coursework. So in fact, what one should again think of coursework as a bridge between what you have learned in MSc and what are the possibilities, or what are the subjects which are offered in by the department. So probably you will have faculties from within the department who are experts in their subject, trying to show you what are ongoing problems, and the coursework basically again takes you to one level higher, or maybe also it helps you to get to know people in the department who is doing what. It gives you an opportunity to see that. And you can also test your compatibility with the people who are faculty who are there in the department, the subjects which are there in the department. Okay. And yeah, so of course once the coursework is complete, and then you usually are kind of more or less certain that, oh, I like this particular teacher, or I like this particular subject, so I am going to work in this. So basically the coursework is also a time where you are exposed to what is current research, also what is happening around you and maybe other parts of the world. Okay. So this is the importance of literature review. Okay. So this is another thing which I wanted to say, that for people, I'm not going to give you a recipe for quality research. Okay, what I'm going to say is not a recipe for quality research. It is as I said, just some kind of uh, possible things which one can do. And one of the things which I consider very important for doing research is, as Sane sir also said, that you need to have passion. You do need to have time. Sometimes you require a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and what I really emphasize on is a lot of hard work. Because people may be, I say it very frequently, that somebody may be very intelligent, but if the person is not going to do hard work, then you do not get anything. Means the just being intelligent or just being lucky may not help you all the time. You do need to put in the effort. You do need to take effort to learn the foundation things. There is no shortcut in the time spent. Like, you do need to keep yourself up to date, and that is where the literature review comes into picture. Because remember, depending on what subject, what topic you are choosing, okay, there are some topics which Dr. Siddharth mentioned, which are, I should say, much younger topics, where, like, like you can learn things very quickly, and you can have results very quickly. But there are subjects like, again, this hard analysis and algebra, which depend on functional and what you call operator theory and all those things, partial differential equation. So if you go back to the foundations for this subject, like, people have worked on these for years and years and years, and these have a lot of intersections with physics, chemistry, biology, and in fact, as was mentioned in the previous talks also, that there is a very thin line between various subjects nowadays, which is of course very good. And so this means that you are going to be required to spend a lot of time on literature review. The literature review basically brings you up to date as to what is happening today. And since Geeta madam had asked this particular, what is archive.org, so also let me say, one of the instructions, means I was a full-time research student, so one of the instructions which my teachers gave me was that you should go to TIFR Bombay library. There are a lot of journals over there. Go and check what is there in each journal. Okay, so these journals may be like monthly or quarterly or half yearly or yearly. So you walk into the library and there is a journal section. Just go to the journal section and read, and you will see who is doing what are the problems. So I think this is a very good habit, which in fact, I should say Professor Kaushik insisted that I should go and do, and I think it is a very good habit to have in the beginning, or means I do it even now. So just to keep yourself update. So also let me say that that was maybe around 20 years ago. Like, you walk into the library and you scan the journals, latest journals. I'm not talking of old reference journals, I'm talking of latest publications, and you try to figure out, oh, who is doing what, whether I understand this, whether I find this interesting, whether reading this particular paper gives me an idea, those kind of things one can do. Of course, with internet and all that, the substitution of what I said could be this website called archive.org, because this is a website where you can find preprints. Like it is a practice that people prove some result. It is not really refereed, but there are people who decide whether they do look through your work, and then there is a decision depending on whether it is uploaded on archive or not. And it is an acceptable website where you do get, I think, that credit that, oh, this person has done this work first. So it is like how do you say, informal publishing, that and then people can refer to your paper while it is on archive, and continue the work in that particular field. So another way of doing literature review and keeping yourself updated with what is prevalent now, what is more popular now, is to look at archive.org. It is a good website. You have they have sections, differential geometry, algebra, analysis, all the fields of analysis, mathematics are there, mathematical physics are there. You can even look at physics, you can even look at biology, mathematical biology, and then you can select, and you can see what are the current papers published in last 10 years, 10 days. Why 10 years? 10 days. Okay, and that's how it works. So yeah, literature review is basically, how do you say, continuous process. It should be a continuous process. You cannot say that I did something today and I will do something after 2 months or something. Maybe some very important work gets done during that period and you don't realize. One of the things which means, again, now because of internet, it is kind of easy that you are aware of what others are doing in the world, but there is always a possibility that what problem you are working on for your PhD, somebody else is also working on that, right? So it can happen that, and then it becomes kind of race, that the person who finishes or gets the result first gets the credit. And there have been instances where, like, means in earlier times more, that where people have spent a lot of years on the work doing something, and when they finally send it for publication, they receive a reply, oh, such and such person has already done it. And it's like your years of efforts have just gone, means I don't know whether you can submit such work for getting PhD. I'm not sure about that part. Okay, so yes, this is archive.org helps you for in lot of ways. So yeah, this is I have taken a slide from what you call research proposal submission of University of Mumbai. Okay, so as Sane sir pointed out, we do have this particular structure in which we have to write down everything, our research proposal. And as he has correctly pointed out, that of course I can understand that this kind of how do you say, compartmentalization is necessary in experimental sciences, even in engineering sciences, because computational, all those sciences, it is possible to put what you are doing, what is your introduction, rationale, aims and objectives. You can write all those things very precisely, including materials and methods, as Sane sir pointed out. That the thing is if I'm going to tell you what method I'm going to use, then somebody would have already done it, right? Means why should I tell you my materials and methods in mathematics? I will not tell you. Okay, so yeah, this is unfortunate. This is unfortunate, and it does happen that sometime some of the people, when you are submitting your thesis, they do ask, oh, you have not written this. So okay, you have to be a bit smart, and you just say something like you mention some of the existing methods, and you say maybe I'll find new method. That's all. Okay, so yes, I can understand that when you are trying to write down research proposal, you basically have to try to put your stuff within this kind of framework, which kind of, doesn't give you too much freedom. Okay, but I do suggest that give yourself a lot of freedom. Okay, because you never know in mathematics, unfortunately. Say it is possible that the problem you have started working on is going to be very difficult. It may seem, many of the simple problems, as we have already heard, they are not solved, so you never know. Yeah, so it is not an experiment. See, many times means again, I'm saying my opinion that like an experiment, when you're conducting an experiment, you go through a process, and then in the conclusion you can write that the experiment was successful, the experiment was a failure, or the experiment was indecisive. Unfortunately, in mathematics we cannot do that. You do require some result to get your PhD. So that is a big difference. Okay. So yeah, so I just thought of including this part because yeah, as Sane sir says that yeah, this material and methods you have to write down, and yeah, okay. So this is just a suggestion that for people who are in a fix, they should try to give themselves a lot of space. Okay, just don't put one thing. Try to put 2-3 things. Try to put one difficult thing and three, four easier things. And of course, as it was mentioned, your guide needs to help you in this. Okay, you too need to understand. You too also need to take effort, and your guide would be the one who really needs to help you decide these kind of things. Okay. So, is there any question? Does anyone have any question? Yeah.
I think in the chat there is one question. Just go through that.
We'll go through.
Shall I read it for you? You can see.
Let me see. Yeah, tell me.
Shall I read it?
Yeah.
It says, can you guide us to choose the guide correctly? Since I have heard that it is taking too long time for some people to complete their PhD. So the question is how you can get to know about the guide more, like the research papers or the number of students
No,
who have
I
completed
think
it.
I think again it is always not one way, right? It is about two people working together. So it is how to choose guide. Again, it goes by, like, when you're doing coursework. I think that is the only a time when you would have an opportunity, or you can go and visit. Suppose you think that that person is your prospective guide, maybe you can read something, try to, before appearing for your PhD interview or something, you meet the person, try to read, try to see how you all get along, try to see if you all have similar interests, try to see if you do not have any communication gap. So all those kind of things, I think it takes an effort. Yes. I mean, there is again no formula. And about taking time means it again depends a lot on the student also, right? how much effort the student is taking, how much time the student is able to give for the research work, and whether and of course, like you can say, also consider the case situations where the guide is extremely busy and cannot find time for the student. So that is another situation which can happen. So yeah, but there is no hard and fast rule. People have to work it out themselves with the guide and the student. Can I proceed?
I think there is one more question you can answer, that
Yeah.
Rushali, she has asked,
Yeah.
what would an expected result outcome be? That you had shown that slide, from that she
Okay.
wanted to know more.
Okay. Here, expected result or outcome. Okay, so that is what, see, expected and result or outcome would be like the outcome of whatever you write in your aim, right? You say I want to prove this, so the expected result is what I'm going to do, right? Whether you're going to get it or not is a different thing, but when you're writing the proposal, yes, I want to prove the as expected result. My aim is to prove Riemann hypothesis. I can say that, right? I will prove Riemann hypothesis. That is my aim. Expected result is I have proved my Riemann hypothesis, or I have proved, how do you say, weaker version of Riemann hypothesis, or I have proved some result. So again, all these are vague. Means we cannot predict aim beforehand, but because we need to write it in proposal, yes, you have to write something. Okay. Outcomes is always you are going to publish paper in reputed journals. Maybe sometimes you are going to do numerical calculations. You will have numerical codes. Suppose you are having something related to how do you say, image processing or some things like that. Then maybe you improve some results. Those kind of things you can write it down. But again, when in your proposal, it is only going to be, as you can see, it is expected result. You're not sure that you are going to get those results, but one of the sure results should be that I will be able to publish my whatever I am aiming for in a good reputation. That is would be my expected results. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is part of it, like how to write a proposal. Again, as I said, this has to be an understanding between the student and the teacher, depending on series of discussion, and statement of purpose would also be related to what your proposal is, right? So for mathematics, statement of purpose would be, I want to generalize this result, I want to prove this result, or I want to find a new technique, or I want to find a numerical method, one of those things. And as was mentioned in the previous talks also, that either you are going to uh, uh, give a proof using you are going to prove a new result using known techniques, or you are going to find new techniques to prove a result which is not proved till now. Okay. So in mathematics, it's only going to be one of the two. Of course, you also have a new possibility that you are going to give a computational proof. You are going to give a approximate proof of the statement. Means these are very much acceptable nowadays also. So your proposal and statement of proposal, like basically they are related, and proposal would be like you start with an introduction. It includes what literature review you have done, what you feel about what you have studied. Write it down in your own words, and and your understanding of the problem given to you by your advisor. Yeah, and of course, as I said, the advisor also has an input, because probably he's there to guide you. Yeah. Excuse me. I think I need to. So this is again how to write and publish a research paper. So I think this is where the first part of what I said is useful. So if you go through, if you create a habit of going through journals like latest journals which are and the papers which are published, or you go to the archive, and there what you will see is different styles of writing a research paper. Okay, and many times these styles are dictated by the journals, and sometimes or many times they are also I should say sometimes, yeah, sometimes it can be your own personal touch. Okay, so yeah, I think means many journals, they say, they tell you that we want introduction first, we want this later, we want third paragraph, we want this, we want, no, there is a prescribed format. Okay, of course, first one, a first paragraph, a first section is always going to be introduction, and you do have to, that is again very important when you're writing a research paper, is that you should spend time and take effort to see who else has done in the topic which you're writing about, and what is the latest progress in the topic you're writing about. And you should give due acknowledgement to whatever work has been done. At least try your best to do it. It is the best thing to do, that to acknowledge someone that they have done the work, and it should be recorded in your introduction. So this again you will achieve only if you are reading a lot, doing a lot of literature review, keeping yourself up to date about what is happening, where, who is doing what. And yeah, I think it is not fair if due acknowledgement is not given to the work which is not done. Okay, so of course, publishing a research paper is a process. So writing a research paper, of course, is still fine. You can write, again, the sections are already prescribed, but how you write it is still up to you. Okay, now, because most of the time you are going to submit your research paper to a journal, and hopefully the referee will comment on, it is a duty of the referee to go through your introduction, through each and every line, and check your calculation, check your grammatical errors. Also, you forgot your comma, you forgot your full stop, the sentence is not proper. So if you're a referee of a journal, you not only have to see correctness of the proof which is given, but you also, it also involves this, how do you say, the English part, or how it is written. Yeah, so yeah, so you do get a lot of help from the referee, but I think it would not be very fair if you are going to submit a very badly written paper. So read it 2-3 times, or as many times as you can. You give it to your advisor to read. If you have a friend, maybe they don't do mathematics, but at least the English part, you can talk, you can discuss. You have somebody at home, you should ask. It makes a lot of difference. Means I even ask my daughter, so it's fine. There's nothing wrong. Is this sentence correct? How does it sound? Sometimes you need to know these kind of things from third person. Okay, and how to choose a right journal? Yeah, again, I think Sane sir already spoke quite a bit about this, that there are, unfortunately, means I'm very much against of this, but of course, again, for many sciences, the concept of paid journals is acceptable, but for mathematics, it is kind of not, I think. Okay, because this has resulted in any paper getting published. Okay, you just pay some money and you have a publication, and then you put it in your CV and you say, I'm having so many publications, I need to get promoted, blah, 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 blah. Processes, how do you say, goes on. But that is the most unfortunate part of this kind of craze of getting published, paper published. Yeah. As per according to me, how to choose a right journal? So I think what I would see is whether the given journal publishes the kind of work which I have done. So again, it, as I said, the fact that you go through journals, what type of papers it published, it helps. Whether so, say I have written a paper in this particular topic, and I see that somebody else has published a paper in this journal at some time, which is related to what I'm doing, and means mine is new. So I can safely feel that I can submit to that journal. Maybe the editors will send it to a proper referee, because uh, if I have a result in PDE, and there is Journal of Algebra, it doesn't make sense for me to send it to Journal of Algebra, right? I should send it to a subject which is close to the topic which I'm working on. And it does help. It does help if you see that this journal does publish these kind of papers, or papers which are in related topics. So I think that is one of the ways you can always see the because everything is there on the journal web page. The editors, who are the editors, what field they are working in, and then if you see someone who is working in the field close to what you are working on, then it would be a proper journal to send in. Another thing is that many of the journals have like big list of editors, and with their specialization listed, and they also instruct that if you that they also instruct that you, if you think that such and such editor is close to your topic, then you rather send your paper directly to that editor for processing, which is nice. It means there is a main editor, you can of course send it to main editor, but you can save some time by choosing yourself that, oh, there are 3-4 people, maybe this person is a right editor, so, and maybe he sends it to a good referee to, and maybe my paper will be interesting for this person, so it gets refereed fast, and I hear from the journal sooner. Okay, so these are the ways you can avoid long waits for publications. How many new results are needed to be proved to form one research paper? I think this depends on the question which you are trying to solve, and again, I think the supervisor has to decide whether the paper is substantial or not. Yeah. So also, I do know that there are very means having there are few journals which publishes very big papers. Okay, and having one big paper with too many results in it which may be unrelated doesn't help much. If they are related, then you do not have a choice. Okay, but I think one should try and make the research paper interesting. uh, Sometimes you may think that, okay, this is good enough, I have proved only one result, which is fine. And if your advisor think it is fine, it's fine. If your advisor thinks that no, this is not enough and we need to work more, we need to add this aspect of the problem, we need to add maybe some numerical illustration, or maybe add some figures, or maybe some applications, it only adds more weightage to your paper. So I think this is very much relative, depending on the problem which you are working on. Okay. So yeah, that is what. Is there any question? Are there any questions? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. A few are there.
Maybe. I think I
Okay.
don't.
Yeah, in the chat box. Shall I read?
Are they related, or maybe I can just finish? I think I don't have.
Yeah. It's better we finish and then we
Yeah,
can.
because I think it will be good. Okay.
Okay.
What makes an excellent research paper? Again, that is very much relevant. So yeah, there are a lot of factors in it. As in the previous talk we have seen, it also depends a lot on whether your subject is how do you say how do you say hot topic at the current time, so it also depends on how many people are interested in the work you are doing, how many people are going to refer to your work. It also depends on what contribution your paper makes or your work makes to say if it is applied science kind of paper, like where it say your result is applicable in mathematical physics or mathematical biology or computer science or engineering, like, so sometimes you do have these breakthrough results or simplification of something or new techniques or like as sir was saying that you have you have a problem which can be solved in 50 steps, you are able to solve it in 5 steps, or somebody does something using computer and you are able to give an analytical proof. So all those things do make a good research paper. Whether it is excellent or not is a personal opinion of the person who reads it. So yeah, this is a tricky question and it is very relative. I would like to mention here is that means many times people say that we are doing too many abstract, like, in earlier, this was like say 20 years ago, that people are working applied maths, pure maths, and but we know not theory is used in biology, that DNA thing, yeah. So suddenly knot theory, which was part of topology, becomes applicable. So I think it is not fair to have these demarcations, what is applied, what is pure, because you never know what is useful today. What is abstract may become very important in future. So sometimes progress in science for the sake of progress is also required. So yeah, so in that sense, all kinds of research, as long as you are passionate about it and it makes you feel happy, is fine for me. Yeah. Okay, research tools and resources. Research tools, as far as maths is concerned, is going to be your brains. Sorry, your brains. With you have to think, you have to spend a lot of time, you have to read. You do have computational tools nowadays, right? And resources, as I said, plenty of resources available on internet. Of course, you have to be very careful because there are a lot of wrong information also. Wrong proofs are also there on internet. So be careful. Do not copy everything blindly. Don't believe everything blindly. And that is also a good way of learning, right? So you try to question everything that you see. Okay, so research tools are, yes, you have to train yourself to focus. You have to train yourself to read. You have to train yourself to keep yourself up to date. You have to train yourself to learn new existing techniques, think, and I think it is very beneficial to know programming nowadays. Yeah, that's what. Okay, so let's see what else is there. Slide. Yeah, I think this is the last slide. I think so. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Yes, regarding the whole concept of this, means I myself was like we do have, again referring to what Sani sir said in the first talk, that we do have the course on research methodology, and means it is made compulsory, etc., etc. And in fact, I should say that. Yeah, I was kind of shocked to hear that, oh, research methodology is the most important subject, means because I did not take research methodology course, and I think I do good enough research. Ramanujan did not take research methodology course. So yes, it helps you in certain way, but I think good research in maths come from original ideas. That's all. Like you cannot put it in steps and procedures. Yes, after you have found that idea, you can explain it in steps and procedure, but not before that. So yeah, I think with that I will end. Yeah. So I will take questions now. Shall I close the minimize the? Yeah. Uh-huh. So who applied abroad for PhD? What did you say? Oh, too
It
many
is
questions.
written as if at all I am to apply abroad for a PhD, how
Huh.
many publications am I going to need? That is the question.
So for applying for PhD, you do not require publication. Why do you require, when you want to apply for PhD, you are going to go and get your PhD there, right? So why do you need any publication over here? There, no, you don't need any publication. I have students who have gone abroad after MSc in my department and gone and done PhD. She is a postdoc in ETH Zurich now. Yes, yeah. Who else is there? So yeah, I do not think any preliminary experience in research is yeah. You want to decide doing PhD? Yes, that I can understand. So that you have to, like as I said, spend time talking to someone, have a kind of supervisor. And
Someone has raised the hand, I think.
yeah, I don't know who is that.
Yeah. Please unmute and ask.
Shivek.
Ah,
Shivek.
yes, yes, yeah, yes.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful talk. It is really inspiring to see such talks and understand what goes on in mathematical world. So I have a question regarding this. Uh, we do read journals to expand our knowledge to gain what is going on in the world, but um, uh, being a very average mind myself, I want to understand how to develop original ideas for research, because as far as I'm concerned, it takes a lot and lot of thinking to develop original ideas. And even though after reading, there are certain times when we get confused and have mixed feelings when we don't get any ideas.
Yeah. So, okay, I think everybody goes through that particular phase, right? So it is like, in some like cartoons, you see sometime that bulb bulb glowing in front of Tom and Jerry, this in Tom and Jerry cartoons and all that. So I think it strikes like that. So I think one should not get disheartened if there is a phase where you think that, oh, I cannot do anything, then just take a break and go and read something for fun. That's what you should do. So, and I think one of the important part is that you should have confidence, that you can do something. Like it doesn't help losing confidence. So trust yourself, trust the knowledge you have learned, and I think as was already mentioned, no one can say I know everything. You see, learning is an always ongoing process. So it's fine. It's fine. Fine. That's what I would say. So there are no shortcuts. You never know when you will get an idea. Maybe you go for a walk and you get an idea. Maybe you're traveling somewhere and you get an idea. I think that is the beauty of mathematics. I think what is required, like if you are at least till BSc, try to have your foundations well, because these are the tools which you will require lifelong. Means say it's almost 30 years or so since I have done my BSc, but I still use continuity, I still use limits, I still use LUB, all those things. Means these are the these are the alphabets of the language that we require to speak. So, yeah, I don't know whether I answered your question, but yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I got the answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to find your answer yourself, actually. Yes. Anything else? Yeah, about very few female. Yeah, I'm very happy to be a woman mathematician. I think it happened by coincidence because my teachers encouraged me to do mathematics, and I think I worked hard, and I had very good teachers who guided me at every step. Yeah, I think I owe that to my teachers. Yeah. Yeah. What is there? Yeah. Okay. Is there any scope abroad for PhD? What do you do if someone has submitted publication and we are working? Yes, then actually you should stop working. What to do if someone has submitted a publication a week ago and we are working in same kind of work and we are ready to submit it? Yes, actually then you cannot submit your work. Okay, you have to do something better than what has already been done to get any credit for your work. Yeah. So you cannot submit it. Yeah. Will it be possible to consider myself also for the work? No, no. To be fair, no, you will not be considered. Is there any scope abroad for PhD in NLM? Yeah, you should see the. No, I think you can do PhD in analytic number theory, pure maths, or any other subject. But I do think that it is always an added advantage if you have knowledge of using use of these computer languages. Okay. No, you do not, Sanket. Yeah, you do not need a proof to apply abroad for PhD. No, you do not need. You do require good masters. That's all. No, I don't know. I have, as I said, my student went after MSc. You cannot do PhD without guide, I think so, because it is necessary to register in some university, and the university system does require to register with some person as a guide. It is okay. It is okay. You can say that if you and the person under whom you register agree, the person can be a formal guide and you do your things on your own. That is all.
I think Shiny has raised her hand, so let her ask the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Participant one, Shiny, do you want to ask? You have raised your hand. I think she has raised hand by mistake, I think.
Okay. So there
Yeah.
is one more question. How and what is difference between doing math problems and doing math research? Solving math problems, the problems which you are solving at present are the problems which somebody has already solved. I mean, these are known maths problems. So I think they solve the fact that you solve math problems and the fact that you know, at one point you start enjoying, there is a sense of accomplishment. Okay, that kind of gives you a thrill of what it is to solve a math problem. Math research would be that you're solving a problem which nobody else has solved. Okay, so I think that is the difference. Otherwise, there is not much difference. Solving a math problem, when you're doing math problem, also you are using what some maybe your teacher has said, or you're looking at some textbook. Oh, this is the method, and I'm doing it. But maybe when you're doing math research, you have no reference. You don't know. You don't even know what technique to use. Okay, so that is the difference. Otherwise, it should be very much similar also in that sense. Did I answer everything? Yeah, I think this is all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. I think.
Surjit, I think you can take over now. Surjit?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible, Rekha?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. Respected Jyotsna ma'am, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion on behalf of the Maths Department of SIS College and on behalf of the Maths fraternity gathered here today online, and on my own personal behalf, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to you, Jyotsna ma'am, for sharing with us your findings and opinions today. A big thank you to ma'am for sparing your valuable time with us, sharing your years of expertise, and inspiring us all. Thank you very much for giving us the step-by-step procedure for going ahead with research, or at least beginning for most of the students. I'm sure that the guidance provided by you will motivate several people in the audience to take their research to the next level. Thank you once again also to our audience for being such a wonderful participating audience. I also request that we will be taking a short stretch break before we go on to our last session for today. Thank you.
Thank you all again.
Thank you. So we'll meet after 10 minutes break, isn't it? What's the time now?
Yes. I think 3:15 or 3.